Well, are you guys ready for Conan the Barbarian? We're going to watch the teaser trailer first because back in the 80s, the entire film was put in the teaser trailer, and then we'll go through our critic list stuff. We'll go around the horn. Look,
that's what I love when people complain about spoilers. I'm like, do you realize back in the day, the trailer would give us the whole movie? We had the novel, the comic book, all that crap before the movie came out. We knew everything about the movie before they come out.
This trailer is 3 minutes and 50 seconds.
Oh my God, that is long.
I'm probably going to get claimed. So
that's what she said.
If somebody wants me to pause it at a certain point because it's something they want to talk, just let me know. We could pause through it as well. So,
slave.
All right, YouTube. What the heck, Jay? What did I do?
We're watching stuff about Transformers.
More than meets the eye.
No.
Roll out.
How do you start off a teaser trailer by saying slave? I mean, how did they get away with
slave?
Well,
all right.
Can't say that.
Slave. Barbarian. Warrior. Thief. Conan.
They said you'd come, a man of great strength, conqueror, one who can crush the snakes of the earth.
It's just like the last Starfighter trailer. They're showing the entire thing.
They are. Yeah.
Well, I didn't watch it, so let's catch me up.
Someone
to speed,
said, "Is that Tom speaking over the trailer?"
Slave.
In a world where slaves and barbarians made love endlessly.
I was surprised they didn't say lover with the amount of sex he had all the time.
They showed one of the few clean
smashing.
shots in the in a sex scene right there. So I was like,
yeah. Interesting. We're only 45 seconds in the teaser trailer. I'm sorry. Hopefully, maybe there's a big ending. I'm not sure.
He's evil, a sorcerer who can summon demons.
Day of Doom is here. What daring! What arrogance! I salute you.
Gets to change his mind.
The arrogance, the daring, the arrogance. I salute you.
Dude, Max von Sydow is amazing.
Yes.
Tom should redub some old trailers. I agree.
In a world where worlds don't exist, things happen and you never know what's going on.
Tom, can you read over my super chats from earlier? Can we recut this, please? Thank you.
What's up, Laughing Man?
I can't read.
I got to ride bitch in the motorcycle with Laughing Man at Hogwarts. He made me sit in the sidecar. I was like, "Oh, you're Laughing Man, I guess." He's a cool dude.
He's
not
pretty,
a very good driver. Yeah,
awesome.
Conan the Barbarian, when movies weren't for pussies.
I like it already. Do it.
That's pretty good.
Come on, Tom, do it.
Incredible adventurer of all.
Boobs, barbarians, and blood. All you need.
Conan the Barbarian.
Okay, so this must be a collab of like a few of the teasers.
I think so. That's like the original
Coming
teaser
to a
there.
theater near you from
A
Universal
collab?
Pictures.
Like they'll show
Like the two trailers
medley.
work together.
what? That's
The
I was
rest
about
of
to
it,
say.
okay.
Warrior.
That's
God,
better than
that
Slave.
Bro.
Freaking sounds like Tom. Now I can't unhear it.
Now we'll
Lord.
say slave.
Warrior.
Lover.
That music is so good.
Austria.
Rockstar.
Conqueror.
Dude, Basil Palladores is the king of soundtracks. I love him so much.
Man of
He
great strength.
made this movie.
Oh,
It
sorry.
was
Go
so
ahead,
good.
Mo.
Oh yeah, no, Basil Palladores. He is so awesome. He did this in RoboCop. He knows how to take the movie and make it even better. It's him and Ennio Marcion, the guy that did the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. There's that's the thing I love the most is movie soundtracks. I have so many of them. It's like my favorite.
Can we
thing.
agree that the soundtrack for this film was probably one of the best ever?
Oh,
Or-
100%. 100%.
Da, 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 da.
When he
It
looks up from the Wheel of Pain and that music cues up, it's like, yeah, let's go.
It's
a great shot.
Between the time when the oceans drank Atlantis and the rise. Sorry.
Oh, Mako.
So
Okay,
bad,
Mako's
dude.
better. Mako is awesome. Mako has
Yeah.
the best voice.
Can we all agree that this is what Epic Mike would do to Sevy's macaroni and cheese? if he put it right in front of her, this is what Mike would do.
Well,
This
I
is
like
mac and
macaroni and
cheese.
cheese. This is
Too
Mike's
many
bread
brown
around.
foundation. It's too brown.
Yeah.
well, in all fairness, that is smaller than the bowl that she showed earlier.
Yeah.
Eat it.
There's Parmesan cheese in here. What the hell are you doing?
It's too dry. Ah,
You can't mix Italian with Western. You crazy.
Man whore.
That was good.
Actual
was
horror.
really good.
Yeah.
Give us
That was
what we
perfect.
desire.
Keep going, Tom, please.
Demolition expert.
Oh, the fact
Interior redecorator.
the fact that he gets so mad and kicks over at candles, like right here, like that.
Screw this candle. It pissed me off.
It's too bright in here.
What is Lemire doing in this film, and why does Conan hate him so much?
Because he's
That's
French.
crazy.
He's about to
Stupid
sing
French.
"Be Our Guest." We've got Sammy's
No.
macaroni and cheese. Be our guest.
Maybe that's why he's mad.
That's how you treat your
He was
guests.
like, no. Oh, that would be torture. That would be torture. He was trying to protect civilization. That's what he was trying to do. He knew what was coming.
Wow, dude.
He likes to break stuff. Darth Vader.
He's evil, a sorcerer who can summon demons.
This trailer's freaking awesome, man. Like,
Yeah.
I love that scene. Where it's like, I'm still going out later. At least I got it. At least I finished before she
Yeah.
turned into a demon.
Why does this always happen to me?
Now we'll learn what is fear in night.
there's the music. Oh, this live stream is gonna be playing so quick.
Man, that music is so
Right.
The
good.
most incredible adventurer of all.
Before he was Conan the Adventurer, he was Conan the Barbarian.
What outrageousness! What arrogance! I salute you. Conan.
Is that a different shot?
I was just going to say, I think that's a completely different take from the other one. Yeah. I never noticed that before.
The Barbarian.
Yeah, so those were the teaser trailers. Over a minute, pretty much gave out the entire film.
Yeah.
This movie, and we'll get into like I said, critical scores. Just a real quick review. And then I do have and Tom can correct this article that I have of some fun facts about. Seriously, I appreciate that. Like, true, we need to tell truth. So, the last one we pulled up, Tom was just ripping it apart in the
Well,
chat.
you know, the problem with this is a lot of these articles, I think, are written by AI now.
That's so sad.
Unless
yeah.
like,
But
you
you're
actually
probably
know
right.
they're written by a real person, then yeah.
So we have Conan, who was part of a tribe of people, had his own religion. You know, father was teaching him like how to do things in life, and then out of the blue, this new cult, this religious cult, comes out of nowhere, slaughters everyone. And to me, I think one of the most for the budget, they had a $20 million budget, roughly. And that one scene at the beginning where his mom's head gets cut off was like, I thought that was shot so well, like for like no special effects. You know, she's like holding on to her son, you know, and then James Earl Jones did such a great job in his character. And he just like kind of hypnotized her, like with those snake eyes that he does. And then just turns around with the sword. And like, I thought the cinematography for that was so good for that time. You know, the head falls down, the kid's still looking, and then mom just falls over dead. Then he becomes a slave and has better storytelling than The Last Jedi on how Conan got so big. He was pushing some kind of wheat grinder, I guess. I don't even know what that was.
Wheel of pain. Wheel.
What was he doing? Like, was he pumping water, or was it just there for people to walk?
It was to weed out the weak men. That's what it was for. That's all it was for.
Really?
To weed out the weak people. That's all. Right? Am I right, Tom? Of course he's muted.
As far as my understanding, yeah, yes. I don't think it served any other purpose.
So they had a bunch of children pushing it, and one by one,
they just saying grinding wheat in the chat, but yeah,
they just slowly disappeared.
So it was a wheel of
maybe
pan,
they put them to battle and they died, and he was the last one.
Basically, they would all exhaust themselves to death, and he's the only one who, survived.
Yeah, apparently it's a mill, but they never really specify exactly what it is, and it's mostly just to test, just work until you die. And Conan was like, no, I'm not gonna do that. I'm like, okay, so
yeah. So
that's one of the few things that's different from the original stories is Conan was never a slave. So
really?
This was added for the movie, yeah.
I only ever looked at the covers. I know it's shocking to chat, but I loved Frank Frazetta's art, so I never read the books. But yeah, his art,
the artwork was fantastic.
I love the artwork. Yeah.
So people, Beach Bum says it was grain based on the movie novel.
Oh, there you go.
So
this movie is just oozing with testosterone. I mean, you got Oliver Stone who wrote the script. You got John Milius who directed it. If you know anything about John Milius, he's basically the guy they based the character, John Goodman's character, on in Big Lebowski. I'm trying to remember his name in the movie, but yeah, if you haven't, that's who they based that character on. And so amazing. He's crazy. And then you got Arnold Schwarzenegger on top of it with all his bodybuilding cronies hanging around. So this movie was nothing but testosterone.
One of the fun facts is that they asked Arnold to get smaller, that he was actually a little too big originally. So he cut his calories and shrunk a little bit.
That's because he was in bodybuilding shape. Yeah, they wanted him in more of a natural look to him.
Yeah. He was still pretty massive in the film, though. So he's a slave. So then they throw him into it becomes the movie Gladiator for a little bit. He gets thrown in and he wins a few fights and they start to train him. They start to educate him, and he wins a few more. And now he's making everybody money.
Make some funny noises.
Oh, dude, that is like the almost unintentionally funny. Yeah. The first fight, he's going, I for the entire time.
Yeah.
Can you imagine the ADR session for that?
Oh my God, dude.
So then people were paying to breed with him. Like, hey, I'm gonna bring my daughter here. Can you breed with this big specimen so I can, have a big son?
And they were just waiting, like, outside, and like they were standing outside in the cage, just like staring at them. It's like, what is going on?
Making sure they got their money's worth, I guess.
Yeah. And then you have what makes it even better is Mako doing the voiceover. He's like, he was breeding with the finest people in the land.
Yeah,
he's got that awesome like voiceover voice. I love Mako. He gets no respect in this movie. He is so good.
So then you see the one scene where he has that quote, right? And they're like, "What do you want out of life?" Or "What is life all about?"
What is best in life?
What is best in life? And the quote is, Mo,
to see your enemies driven before you. What is it? Is
to
crush your enemies?
To see them
to see you driven before you, and to hear the lamentations of the women.
Yeah. Lamentation. I had to look that up. Lamentations. It was
lamentation of the
women that
women.
mourn, that do a mourning ceremony, that cry for it. So that was the quote. And then for some strange reason in the film, everyone's like, fail, you got it wrong.
I know. I'm already
Kick Mo. There it is.
Bro, he just tripped right over that threshold. Like,
yeah,
right.
I tried to like act
is
like he
why
didn't
you
say it
fear.
wrong. Like I just kept going. So,
Crush
anyway.
the women and the monies.
Yeah,
And
and
throw
chocolate
the
milk.
enemies out the door.
to
You're
see
like,
the
I
mac
don't-
and cheese driven before you, to hear the lamentations of the people at the party.
Trim the hedges. And rode off
Yeah.
on the women.
Yeah. Oh man, we have to do Three Amigos on this show.
Dude.
The singing
Then
bush.
something weird happened. Like all of a sudden, like he's just taking a nap, and his master just says, "Hey man, you're free. Get out of here." That's like
Yeah.
you're kind of like,
Yeah.
okay, what was that all about?
He feels
Yeah.
sorry for him.
They even kind of lampshaded a little bit. He's like, I don't know why. So,
It was almost like he just had too much going for him at that point. The guy's like, dude, you being a slave here is not going to help you. It's not really helping me anymore either. So, no, we didn't watch the movie at all.
actually, I'm going to say right now, I watched about the first 40 minutes of this because I got on the plane back from MegaCon. There's a nice young lady next to me, and I was watching on my phone. I said, "Hey, I got to watch this from work. It's rated R. I'm gonna put my finger on the screen if anything happens." And she's like, "I don't care. Why are you telling me this?" Anyways, I got about 40 minutes in, and it was like sex scene number 4 or 5. And I was like, I'm gonna switch over to a.
Yeah, you kind of
to a
Streisand
Pac-Man.
affected that thing. Otherwise, if you'd just left it alone, she'd have been like, "Oh, he's a dude watching an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, whatever."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Hey,
anyhow.
don't want to be weird about it, but there's boobs in this movie. And she's like, okay.
Yeah, you could have watched the edited version.
A lot
It's
of
fair.
movies in the 80s and 90s have boobs in just in the movie anyway.
Well, I got to
There
review
are a
it, you know.
lot of boobs in this movie. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, it was more
Like,
than I remember. That's all I was saying. I
Yeah.
was like, I thought it was the when he was breeding, I knew it was there. The witch, I didn't think she got naked, but she kind of was, but they didn't really show boobies, did they? And
I don't know. I kept putting my finger in front of
And
the
then there was
screen.
like a whole 80s orgy scene with Savvy's macaroni and cheese. That they were
That goes on
serving.
for like a really long time.
It is
and you're like,
really
wow, man.
long. Yes.
I know. You're just kind of like, okay.
Yeah, I paid
So-
for these extras. We're getting all the work we can out of them for the day. So
Yeah, doesn't Arnold and his crew, they look over, they're like, hey, before they break it up.
They go, yeah, this
Yeah,
is
I think they're
paradise.
just staring for a while. They're probably like thinking, should we join? What should we do?
Well, it's actually a bunch of deviants, is what it's supposed to be, and it's Milius's comment on the hippie movement.
pretty wild.
That makes a
man.
lot of sense, actually.
Yeah,
But
he hated hippies. Yeah,
so Conan gets just released in the middle of the night, and the next scene you see him running from some dogs. He climbs up a little rock hill and stumbles across. He falls in and he finds like a king and a couple servants that just sat on a throne in this cave and died. So he just says, and then Conan says the word crumb, and you're not really sure, why he was saying that, but then he finds a sword, gets the rust off of it, cuts his shackles, and his adventure begins. And then he frees the archer there. So it just kind of like takes, so now he's like a thief, he's got to figure out what's going on. And then while he's also looking for the snake people that killed his, everyone's saying crumb in the chat. I say crumb. Did I not say it right? Crumb. Did I say crumb?
Crumb.
Sorry. Crumb. Did he kill the dogs?
No, he just ran from the dogs. I thought that the
don't
name
think
of the
he
guy
killed
on the
him,
throne was
Tyrion.
Crom. I was like, okay, he's been saying Crom all this time. He found Crom.
I think it's more so that he's kind of, it's like, oh, thank the Lord for giving me what I need at this moment, kind of
Yes.
thing.
Yeah.
I thought he was praying to Crom. But
Kind of, yeah.
I thought it
He
was
was
cool
the
that the whole speech that he made about, you cannot trust your mother, you cannot trust your father, but you can trust steel. And then when
Yeah.
he's right in the cave.
Steel. Because you're not
Awesome
supposed
sword.
to actually pray to Crom. Because if you pray to Crom and you ask him for anything, he sees that as weak and he laughs at you.
Okay, people say he did. He killed them all. Okay, yeah. Okay, you're right, Spirian. He was wearing the dog's fur in the next scene. Yeah, that's right.
Was
That's
that your
right.
favorite part, Mike? We killed the dogs.
Plus, yeah, you saw the
No.
symbol as dark.
Were you a little
magus.
bit jealous? Were you should have
No.
killed the other type of dogs? Those won't taste good.
You know what's
I knew
crazy?
everybody was- I knew
Speaking of
we were
that
gonna bring
scene,
this up.
after he cut loose, killed the dogs, and he's just wearing them as like shirt, he just randomly walks up to this woman, this hot woman, and she's like, "You want to get warm by my fire?" And he's like, "Sure, why not?" He just walks in. And he's trying. She doesn't say anything. She's just drinking her wine or whatever, and then she does the prophecy, and then it's like, all right, well, let's get it on, and I'm gonna turn into some weird witch.
Was that not the director taking like a puritanical take against premarital sex? That's how I read it.
I don't know about that, but that's like a scene that's right out of one of the novels.
Yeah, but it's weird. He throws her in the
Yeah.
fire. She turns into some fireball, and just goes away.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
like how his reaction is like, "I seen weed as shit today." This is
Yeah, pretty
he's
much.
just like, whatever.
Yeah.
Time to go kill some people.
Did she show up again later? And now I don't remember.
Is
She
that the
just,
first
I
witch I've
don't-
had to burn?
she just flew away, right? She just like, it was just like part of that world. It was just a part of the magic of that world, I guess.
You burn witches, Jay. I mean, that's kind of how it works.
I know, but like the way they had like the fireball just move through the house and then go outside and bounce around from the different trees.
I didn't see her
Oh.
again, so I assume he
Yeah.
killed her. But maybe. I mean,
Ah.
if she's a witch, maybe she can take another form.
There you go.
Yeah.
Destroyed her physical form. All right. There you go. So she gives him a prophecy. I guess he didn't really think about it. Yeah. Then his next line, Arnold didn't really speak a lot in this film. You know, he finds the other thief. He goes, "I haven't eaten in weeks." And then what was the line? He's like, "What makes you so sure you'll eat today?" Or something like that. So really didn't make much sense, that line. Lets him free. Then they have a conversation. They talk about going to different places. And then you get this weird controversial scene. I don't know if y'all remember, where he knocks out a camel.
Yeah.
When he punches it, that was so funny.
Just watching him.
I just thought he was just too drunk, and he decided to pick a fight with the camel, and he won.
One does.
There were no other big humans around. There was only a camel. He had a lot of rage.
It's just like, was that something real? Did he really just hit the camel?
Oh, I don't know.
Hey, it was 81, 82. It's
That's what I'm
totally
saying,
possible.
like, it was
Those were back
82.
then.
I love when
I
they
don't-
put animals, like real animals, in movies. I don't know. It just feels like they don't do that
You like
anymore.
when real animals get hurt in movies?
No, I don't think
Oh.
he actually punched a camel. Did he punch a camel in this movie?
He punched the
let's
camel
Google
again in the second Conan too. Yeah, if you saw the second Conan
Yeah.
film with Arnold, like they make a joke about it, and he punches it again. Yeah, the camel's brought back up, right, in Conan the Destroyer. So,
It's
but
wild,
apparently
man.
there was some weird controversy where it's like hitting an animal and all that stuff. I was like trying to read some articles where he did punch. Yeah, that's what it was. He did punch the camel. I think he did. Yeah, it was something. Yeah, and he did an interview where he apologized because something happened where he really hit the camel.
Okay, well, I guess I don't like that. But I do like other times when animals show up in movies.
Jeremy the Cyber the camel scene was not in the movie. Arnold actually punched it when he spit on him. Okay, and the cameras were just rolling. Yeah, that was the big.
I can
Tom,
see that.
Tom, I don't know if you're
Camel
talking, but you've been muted
on
for the
everybody.
past 10 minutes. So
I was gonna say that I think the camel spit on him and he hit it, and it was just like an off the cuff thing, but I wasn't 100% sure. So
It
yeah.
didn't- I mean, he dropped that camel too.
Yeah.
In the second
just, like,
film, I think it was
stands there
brought
for a
back up because it
second.
happened in the first one. But yeah,
Yeah, they cut.
Yeah,
and
the
the
camel
director's
like,
like,
stands there for a second, and the camel just falls over. I was like,
falls over.
yeah.
I think anybody who gets hit by Arnold Schwarzenegger is gonna fall over.
Yeah.
he just talks with the second unit director. He's like, "What? The American what society? What?
Yeah, right.
What?"
Hey, Peter's
We're
gonna
shooting
fall.
this in Italy. Who cares?
Anyway, that was the scene, and then they go to steal one of their biggest gems, the big ruby. So that's when he links up with the other thief, his girlfriend, and we start to see little signs of what this cult is taking over. They worship snakes. It's a few priests that are in leadership, and they brainwash. It seems like they brainwash a lot of women to wear flowers and be part of their cult. So, and that's when you get the cool scene where they kill this giant snake, and they steal the
pretty
ruby
cool.
and they escape. They exchange it. I'm assuming they exchange that ruby for tons of money, and they go on this binge for weeks of food and everything, and they got all this money, and that's when Tom. This is where I'm gonna need y'all's help. So then another king, I guess they're in his kingdom, and he's like, "Hey, we want to see you,"
because he stole their shit.
Yeah, because they were still thieves stealing stuff.
But they weren't really. It wasn't really a big kingdom king. It wasn't like.
Okay. So like we were saying before, like the Thulsa Doom, his snake religion is kind of taking over the land.
Right.
So like he's part of the kingdom, but he's not real happy about it. So like that's kind of where he comes in, the Max von Sydow character, as far as my memory. And then so that's kind of what's going on there, is that they don't like that he's taking over. Because like you said, they're kind of destroying all the other religions and kingdoms with this new snake religion that they're bringing in.
Oh, he's just like, my daughter's got
and she got wrapped
brainwashed.
up into this stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's like, if you could rescue her, I'll give you whatever you want. Basically, he's like, here's a bunch of rubies. There's more money for you than you could think of if you can bring her back. So that's how all this kind of got started after all that.
Yeah, and that's such a well acted scene. It's so amazing. He's like, but there'll be a time where the jewels lose their sparkle and the gold loses its luster. And he talks about his daughter. I'm like, oh, got me in the feels, because he's talking about being a dad.
The only thing I got is the love for a father's love for his daughter. Yeah. How do we join Sevi's cult? I mean,
you just say you want to join it. Now you have been indicted. There you go. You're a part of the cult.
Indicted.
No.
I don't want to get indicted.
You're part of it now. Now you got to eat the mac and cheese.
I have to eat the mac and cheese.
So then they go. What's the first thing that they do after that? They go to find a wizard, right?
Well, the thief and the girl say that they don't want to do it because they think that it's a suicide mission. So he goes at it alone. So as he's walking alone, then he sees the wizard, and then he laughs at the wizard, because I think he thinks that magic is not real. And then he says something like, you can really summon demons. Then the dude starts laughing, and then they have a moment.
Yeah. That's right. And then he goes to one of these hippie conventions and dresses up like a priest and tries to sneak his way in, and he gets caught. And he gets beat up, and then we get James Earl Jones, who is he is awesome in this movie. Like, I think he's probably my favorite character.
Yeah. Yep. Thulsa Doom is so intimidating, dude. The way he commands the screen when he shows up is nuts. Even with that awful wig he's wearing, it does not matter. You're like, yo, dude, this dude is bad. Yeah.
He's like,
dude, when he goes, he's like, you killed my mother, you killed my father, and he goes, it must have been when I was young. And I'm like,
I know.
That part was so funny.
He just looks at him and goes, crucify him. It's like, holy crap. And he gets nailed to a tree.
What's funny is,
I like how he was talking about the riddle of steel. And I don't have the quote, but maybe Mo, if he knows the quote, he can say it. When he talks about the riddle steel, go ahead.
I don't know it. I barely could say the most famous line earlier. I'm not taking that one.
Flesh is stronger than steel. That's what he says. I don't remember the whole part of it, but yeah, he's wrong. I'm curious. I'm going to ask everybody if they actually guess the riddle of steel, because they don't tell you the exact answer, but there is an answer.
We get to the crucifixion scene, and this is, I should have pulled this list up sooner, but this is part of the Fun facts, I guess. Arnold, I'm not gonna go. It's YouTube. Said that during the crucifixion scene, they used a live vulture to peck at his wounds. Then for the close-up,
Oh
they
my
used
God.
a real dead vulture that they found for him to actually bite into its throat.
He got,
After
like,
they cut,
salmonella
they
or something like that,
immediately
yeah.
had Arnold rinse his mouth out to avoid disease.
He still got
Oh,
sick.
shoot.
That's crazy. I thought it was a puppet. That's crazy.
No, I thought too. Yeah.
That is so gross.
How do you find a dead vulture? Like, just put an
I
ad
don't
out
think
in
it
the
was
paper?
probably really dead. I think he just bit it.
Ugh.
I think they said it was dead just so that people wouldn't freak out, but I could be wrong.
Could have just bit a real one.
I think he did, yeah. A live one, yeah.
I mean,
'Cause
no
it
one's
looks
doing
pretty
that in the-
alive when he bites it. I'm just gonna say, but yeah.
Thing is, no one's
Yeah.
doing this in the movies today. Like, this is 80s film 101. It's like, hey man, we need you to bite a dead vulture for a scene.
It's
We don't have
crazy,
the
man.
budget, man. This is what we got.
Well, if I remember right, and I could be remembering this wrong because Andre and I have done so much stuff for this movie already. Like, if I remember right, because they do use the live vultures on him.
Oh my
And
God.
Yeah,
like
that's what
the
he said.
camel-
Like, they did the
yeah.
live vultures.
Like the camel scene, I don't know if it was planned for him to bite the vulture. I think he just got pissed at the vulture and bit it.
And just
To
bit
be
it.
honest with you, I
So
think
good.
so.
What,
That's
what kind of
wild.
movie
We
set are they
got-
running over there?
Yeah.
What the
Oh,
heck?
Milius
We
was a
got 50.
nut.
Raider.
Look at that. Raider.
Like when I say that
Dude.
the character from
50.
Big Lebowski is based on him, I'm not kidding. Like he would run around the set with guns and stuff all the time. Milius would.
That's
Rated for
wild, dude.
50. This is pretty much anytime Raider walks into a room.
I don't know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal.
Man, that's 250s. Holy crap, Raider.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Did you guys get to meet Raider at the
Yes,
meetup?
I did.
Yes.
He's awesome. We had a really good conversation about gratitude.
Ooh.
Deep stuff.
Did you learn anything?
Yeah. I feel better.
I don't think Jay understands
He was
movies.
cool though. He's
I
like
don't.
legitimately the nicest guy. You would never think. You know, he's
What does
so
that mean?
love Raider.
You would never think?
It's like I hang out with.
You mean when you see
UFC
Raider, you
Yeah.
immediately
He
thought
like-
he was a jerk?
Yeah,
This
when I
guy
met
looks
that
like
guy,
a jerk.
He looks like a big old jerk.
I'm sorry,
Oh, he's
Raider.
pretty nice.
That's my baseline.
You know what?
Every
When I first met you, I thought you were a real jerk, man. But you know what? You're pretty cool.
oh, I'm struggling.
I guess I was wrong the whole time.
Poor Bo.
Holy crap. Thank you, Raider. Thank you so much, man.
Yeah,
Thank
awesome,
you.
dude.
Anyway, going back. So he bites a real vulture.
This is a
His
tree
friend
of woe.
his friend saves him, and they bring him back to the wizard, where apparently they're fighting off death. Is that what's going on in that scene?
Yeah, Death is trying to grab them. So you can see the spirits trying to attack him at night. That's why they covered him in a bunch of those symbols. And then they were trying to attack them so they wouldn't grab his soul.
That was a crazy scene because it lasted forever. It seemed like it was like how long? It just seemed like it went on forever. Like I was like, okay, but it was really cool. I thought it was, the whole movie is just a fever dream, man. That's why it's so awesome. It's just crazy.
Well,
Yeah,
like
go ahead, Mike.
one
Go
of
ahead.
the, I was gonna say one of the things I love about this movie is how jam packed full of like story it really is. I mean, this is like a full quest, and like it's not just go to point A to point B. Like, I mean, there's a whole journey. I mean, we get to see a lot of the world. We get a lot of idea of what the world's actually like. We get a sense of the gods. We get, there's magic. I put this in my review. There's magic and blood around every corner, no matter where
Yeah.
you go. And that's one of the things that's always surprising if I haven't watched this movie in a while, is how much is going on in the film and like how much time passes and how many events happen in between and stuff. Because yeah, that whole scene, like with him dying and then bringing him back and fighting spirits and stuff, to me, like today in a modern movie, that would be like the crux of the movie. And it's like, yeah, that's a big part of the movie, but there's so much more that happens before that and after that, that it's like there's just a lot of adventure to be had. And I kind of love that about this film, is how much adventure happens throughout the whole thing. It's awesome.
So at that scene, have we ended Act 2 going into, if there's 3 acts in this film, are we ended Act 2?
I think so, yeah.
With his resurrection.
Yeah.
So now we're going into Act 3 where he trains, he gets better, he's healthy, and now they're going after the daughter. And that's when they like put on the war paint. They go to this one area.
He also has extra motivation because, like you said, he found out that this was the guy that killed his folks because he's been looking for that snake thing for all this time too. So it's more to do than just with the daughter, but yeah.
They go there, and then we get to see what James Earl Jones actually is. He's a giant snake. And what a weird scene that was. You're just kind of like watching him change right before you, and he slithers out into his hole. And then they also make this cult look weird, like they're eating like people, I'm assuming, in that soup. Like the guy pours a bowl of soup for the one girl, and she takes the fake hand and starts nibbling on the fingers.
Well, when he turns it like over, you can see body parts coming out of it.
Yeah.
So that was pretty. And then that's when we get some like serious sword action. 80s sword action is the best. They swing the sword. You can see the little blood packs explode.
Oh yeah.
That was pretty cool. One of the fun facts, it says some of the stuntmen took too long to die and had to be paid extra just to lie down and stay a while. So this was the year of the you get stabbed and it's the slow motion fall down death, right? So basically saying that they took too long to fall over and die, that they had to pay him more just to like lie around on the ground.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's like people's necks were exploding. So they rescue the girl, and on their way out, you know, the leader takes a snake, turns it into an arrow, and shoots Conan's girlfriend. And she dies. And he sets her body on fire. And I'm going a little quickly, but she dies, doesn't cry. Conan doesn't cry. They set her on fire, and they chain the girl that they're rescuing to like a rock. And she's just like, they're coming after you. Like, yeah, we know. We're gonna set up shop. So you got the wizard, the archer, you got Conan, and they're getting ready for the last big battle scene. And that's when he looks at Crom and's like, man, I never pray to you, but my God, man, can you show up and help me for once in your life?
Pretty good.
Yep. One of the baddest scenes ever. He goes, if you do not help me, Crom, I say the hell with you. He basically threatens a god. And Crom's like, okay, this guy's crazy. He's punching out camels.
You're not supposed to ask him for help. That's the point. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's something really poignant about that moment. Yeah, because they're just like, Crom basically like doesn't want, like, just leave him alone. Just do your thing. And I love that. Yeah, he basically is like, listen, I want revenge. I know you get what I'm talking about, but if you don't get it, whatever. I'm gonna get it anyways. But like, it would just be nice to know for a moment that maybe somebody's looking out for me, you know?
It's not so much that, it's the moment that he comes to the final realization of what the true riddle of steel is. Because we've had, you know, that is the theme throughout the film, is what is the riddle of steel? And as soon as Conan can figure out what the riddle of steel is, then he'll be able to, you know, conquer his enemies. And that's kind of what it is. Him thinking there and taking all that stuff in is him finally realizing what the riddle of steel is, because Thulsa's wrong. And basically, I don't know if you guys know the answer or not. I'm curious if anybody thinks they know the answer.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, it's you. It's your will. It's you,
yes,
like,
exactly. It's the will.
Wait,
yes.
so it was inside of you all along?
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Oh dear.
It's the will. See, like, because that's what Thulsa gets wrong. He's like, oh, flesh is stronger than steel. It's like, no. the will of man is stronger than anything, right?
Yeah.
The fact, yeah, and so he has his John Wick moment, and he goes like crazy on Tulsa Doom. Yeah, so like he's ready to go to battle.
Jay better bring up the random Valkyrie scene. What the heck was that all about? LOL.
That was awesome.
She was like an angel, man. She came back like all like glowed up and
yeah, that was really cool.
She's a warrior.
Yeah.
So she came back in her full form.
I also wanted to go back for a second too. I absolutely love the scene after his girlfriend dies and he burns her body. Like his friend is crying and he's like, listen, he won't cry. That's not his. This dude will never cry. That's okay. I'll cry for him. Dude, it's kind of it's such a great moment. I was like, that is a raw line. Be like, yo, I will cry for him because like, that's like really looking out for his friend kind of thing. Like, dude.
Yeah. And like her lines too is like, you want to live forever? Like, what's wrong with you? You want to live forever? So it's pretty cool. He set the trap with that giant hook bone and like the guy walks right into it. He gets killed. He's like, he's just staring at him for like a minute.
Yeah.
So, and then the very end was just why it just was. So he's having a ceremony, and Conan just comes in from the dark and just cuts the dude's heads off and like throws his head down the James Earl Jones' head down the steps, and the people are like, I'm pretty tired. I guess I'll go home now. He just all wandered away.
Big gulps, huh?
Yeah.
Well, see you later.
They all threw the torches on that water.
Yeah. Like,
they realized they were following a false idol, basically. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
he
like
was no god.
There's like a thing in like fantasy, like D&D and stuff. Like, in order to like reach apotheosis, become a god, it requires worshipers. And it also requires some kind of event that gives you like a spark of divinity almost. And in that moment, it almost is like Thulsa is aware that he is coming. He is coming to the end of his reign, and the only thing he has left is if he could maybe make his followers follow through on their belief, maybe that will give him enough power to survive what's about to happen. But as Tom said, like Conan figured it out. Like he now knows what the true riddle of steel is. So he just goes to him and he's like, yo, my will versus your will, you're losing this fight because you need them to have strength.
Yeah.
I don't need these people. And it's such a great moment too. And he's like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And like, oh, you know, you're like a son to me, man. Like we're all good. And Conan's just like,
come here, my child.
He's like, oh. He's like, wait a minute, never mind, I guess.
Well, and in that moment, Thulsa's trying to take credit for creating Conan, right? Like that whole like moment in Batman where Jack like, I created you, you created me, you know, that kind of thing. No. And he's like, no, that's not true at all. You know, because if you remember going back through, if you realize that's when he realizes, oh, Will has got me this far this whole time, right? That's what helped him on the wheel. That's what got him through his struggles getting through the forest. That's what got him all the way to this point was his will. Right. So at that moment, he's like, I don't need anything other than that. Right. Like I got my friends and, you know, I had my love of my life and you took that away from me. You took my parents away from me. I proved to these people that you're no God. You're just a nothing. Right. And he gave them all a little head, you know, just threw down the head. And like, yeah.
Tom, I want to ask you, well, anybody, but you'd probably have more knowledge. Like, do you know if any of this stuff is real, if it's false? This is some of the fun facts that Charles Bronson, Sylvester Stallone, and William Smith were considered for the lead role. Could you see Sylvester Stallone?
Yeah, I could see Conan before Charles Bronson.
Hey, and you hear the lamentation of the women. Hey.
I just think Charles Bronson would be too small.
And he's
Charles
really old at that
Bronson,
point. Yeah,
it would be too old, but honestly, he would probably look a little bit more like the original Conan is described. And so would Sly, because what's funny is, yes, Schwarzenegger has the body and the face kind of look for Conan, but as he's described in the book, he's supposed to have kind of like a proto-Native American kind of look to him, right? Because the Sumerian is this prehistory kind of setting, and it's like this. He's even though he comes from like I'm trying to remember exactly the area-ish, kind of like the Norse Viking area, but he's darker skin, dark hair. Kind of more native features, if that makes sense.
At one point, Conan had to throw a torch into the palace center window balcony. Schwarzenegger missed on the first attempt, but they weren't able to retake it because the set burned to the ground.
They make
Just
it sound
keep
like he
rolling.
The last scene. You
Yeah.
mean the last scene when he
look-
when he threw the lantern and he just fell on the floor?
Yeah.
The way they word that, they make it sound like he's like, "Oh, I missed," and then the whole place is on fire. Get out! Yeah, it's like-
just keep filming.
Actually, I think it might be more Celtic. You're right. Yeah, that somebody said in the chat. Yeah.
The other one was, according to the original script, the tomb where Conan got his sword was from the lost city of Atlantis.
Yes.
That's sick.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
that.
I'm trying to remember the king that was there. I think it was. It says in the novel and all that stuff too. But yeah, he also sees the sign of Crom. That's because that's the other thing you were talking about earlier. Because that was his connection to his people, right? So he recognized that. So that was kind of his whole thing.
And then
where he was
Valkyrie
like,
says she
Crom.
had the
Yeah.
tip of one finger cut off while shooting a sword fight for the picture.
Ow.
Oh,
Crazy. Some of the other
That
stuff.
I have heard. Yeah.
Arnold suffered a back injury while filming when the dogs who were chasing him jumped him from behind and he fell down the rock he was climbing to escape them. Apparently, the dogs used in the movie were very dangerous. When you had the dogs chasing Arnold and he's running, he actually is running for his life because he knew those dogs were very dangerous, and they even attacked their trainer. So this was the behind the scene clip of him.
I was gonna say, I
hurting
think
his
there's an
back.
outtake of that. Yeah.
Yeah, there it is. So there's Arnold Falls.
God damn it.
Yeah, they're all like,
God
go.
damn it! That hurt. The dog bit me.
yeah. So those are the, let's see, the last one. Oh, let me pull this back up, and then we'll get into our reviews. I know, Tom, you have another show, so please don't,
Oh, I got like 20 minutes
okay,
left.
perfect.
But yeah.
The one thing was his training. Arnold had to cut down on his workout routine because his arm and chest muscles were so big that he couldn't wield the sword properly.
Oh my god!
That's
really?
crazy, bro.
Like, how big do you have to be that you can't like swing?
Well, you got to
Them
remember, he was
bodybuilders,
actually.
man, were-
Oh yeah, he was doing the bodybuilder stuff at this point too. You got to remember, so he was like in the tip top biggest he's ever been. and
In
stuff like
preparation for the
Good
role,
point.
Arnold had weapons training, martial arts training, and horse riding training. He trained with an 11-pound broadsword 2 hours a day for 3 months. Boy, that's crazy.
Oh my god, those are heavy.
Each broadsword used in the movie cost $10,000 and had to look weathered. He also learned climbing techniques and how to fall, roll, and jump for at least 15 feet in the air. He went through it for this film, man.
Yeah, that's no joke, man.
We don't have to do that anymore. I think the last actor that has to do anything now is Tom Cruise. Now it's just
Oh, like,
AI filled, right?
Yeah. Well, and then Keanu Reeves when he did John Wick, because he put in the work too.
That is true.
It shows.
yeah, Keanu did such amazing work.
Yeah,
That
when
is
you put the
true.
work in, it shows for sure.
All right. Who
Honestly,
wants to go first? Oh no, go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
I was going to say, one of the things I actually loved watching this movie again too is just sometimes just watching Arnold swing around a sword is like one of the most manly fucking things to watch. I'm like, dude, this is so rad. Like he's not even fighting anyone. He's just swinging the sword around. You're like, you know what?
High T, man.
I want to be like
High
that.
testosterone.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do women think that's hot? A man swinging a sword properly?
I know I
No.
do.
Speaking to Stevie.
Debbie,
Oh,
you're going to
not
represent
really.
all women here. So
Not really.
Okay, not really. Not really. It's not my cup of tea, you know. But
Well, Jessica says yes. She likes men that swing swords. So there you go. Karen says yep. Yes. So Sevi likes macaroni and cheese, not tea. There you go. A little different. You know, Tom Cruise is the only one that takes it seriously. I agree. Yeah. Pretty cool. She's laughing. Jessica's laughing. There you go. Just wanted to ask. I wasn't sure. You bet your boots, all caps. Yep. So a
Dang.
lot of women like the sword swinging, fellas. You know, there you go.
Yeah.
All right, who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Mike's going to go first. And listen, you in the chat, if you have your Conan critical score, let us know. I'd love to pull it up. So I hope you drop the link in either the Monday Hangover chat or wherever. I'll try to look and pull them up as we go. And here is Epic Mike. Tell us, man.
Yeah.
A 91.
91. So I originally gave it an 84, but the more I kept thinking about it, the more I was like, nah, dude, I really enjoyed this movie a lot. And yeah, I ended up changing my score to a 91. I really, really freaking like this movie. They just don't make movies like this anymore. And in my review, I say that a shining relic of a bygone era. They just don't make movies like this. Everything feels so either it has to be like gritty or like grounded in some kind of like reality, and there's no magic, or like everything needs to be explained. And I kind of love that this movie lets there be some mystery to the world. And like also, like we said, it's a very high tea movie. Dude, just watching Conan just wreck shop everywhere he goes and stuff. I love this movie, and I really, really, really enjoy how much lore they pack into this one film. I don't even know what the runtime is. I know Tom probably knows off the top of his head. This movie feels like it's 3.5 hours long, but in the best way possible. I enjoy the slowness of it. I enjoy how methodical it feels. So yeah, 91% for me. I really enjoyed this. So
it's actually only like 2 hours and 10 minutes long.
The movie was 20 million, and I think it made like 80 million in the box office. So.
Oh yeah, this movie is the reason Arnold Schwarzenegger is a star to this day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right, thank you, Mike. Mo, you ready?
Yeah,
I am ready.
Whew.
Hi.
95.
Yeah, boy. I said if testosterone could manifest itself into a movie, this would be it. That's why I love this movie. It's just nothing but unapologetic manliness, which is what we need in this world. And as I said before, I love movie soundtracks. And Basil, it's Ennio Marcion. I always mispronounce his name. Basil Palladores, Jerry Goldsmith. They're like, they're on the Mount Rushmore of movie soundtrack. Awesome. Dude, it is so good. It's like maybe. We'll just don't worry, I'll ruin it. But it's just it somehow makes these longer drawn out shots awesome. Like when he's training with the sword. Do we need to see that? Not for exposition, but it's amazing because you can tell he's starting to get better and he's smiling, get cocky, and it's just manliness and it's a ridiculous prehistoric world, and it's so much fun to be in. The music just goes perfectly with the story. He's punching camels, he's biting vultures, he's chopping guys' heads off, he's interrupting orgies. What more could you ask for? It's pretty awesome. And I used to love watching this growing up. I probably wasn't supposed to at that age, but it doesn't matter. That's how awesome it was, because it was just a manly movie. And it is from a bygone era, unfortunately, but it still holds up after 43 years. It's awesome.
I love it. Tom, are you ready?
Sure.
All right, Tom.
I actually feel like I underrated this compared to you guys, but I rate this at 85%, which is basically a 9 out of 10, however you want to look at it. I mean, it is probably one of the greatest fantasy films of all time. Yeah. I think maybe my only reservations with it are the things that were changed from the initial version of Conan or whatever, but other than that, it's a damn near perfect film. So, yeah, I mean, what can you say for it other than it gave us the legacy of Schwarzenegger, and it helped bring Conan to a whole new generation and generations beyond who probably wouldn't even remember him today if it wasn't for this movie. So, yeah, no, and arguably, I mean, Robert E. Howard and with Conan and all his other fantasy stories kind of started that whole genre. So, yeah.
Sounds good.
Yep. I'm ready whenever. Yeah. Bring mine up. Yeah. So I thought it was weird that it was animated. I watched a couple of episodes, and I mean, it was pretty cool for the 90s.
You on this day.
I mean, it was kind of like He-Man, but like an updated He-Man.
That's crazy,
and
bro.
it was,
I can't
Did
it
you
was an
really watch
animated.
the Conan Adventurer?
Oh man, I actually loved this show back in the day.
Oh,
Seriously, it's not a bad show for
oh,
90s, afternoon animation.
a second.
Not only that, that's the name of the sequel, not even the one we
It
watched,
is.
bro.
Well, no, Conan it's Conan the Destroyer's the second Arnold,
Or the
and then
yeah, it is right. The Destroyer.
and then
Yeah.
there's a live action Conan the Adventurer TV series. So
That's
when
right.
I
That's
was
what I was thinking of. That's what I was.
when I was
thinking,
looking this up on Critic List, they had both, and I had to make sure I did the right one. But yeah, I was out
job.
because I'm trying not to watch nakedness of women I'm not married to. So, anyways, the part of the movie.
Respect. That's
the-
why
the
I
part
said
of-
like there are edited versions.
Yeah,
especially
I'll go
female.
check one of those out because the little part of the movie that I did watch was awesome. So
80s films, man. Sevi, you ready?
I'm ready. All right, I gave it an 86%. I really liked the movie, but it had too many sex scenes. So
Too many
that,
boobies for Sevi. There you go.
like, if you can have like 1, 2, okay, 3, okay, but like when it was like 5, or I don't know if it had more than 5, at that point I was like, okay, this is a little bit too much. It could have done it without all the sex scenes, but other than that, it was pretty good. I really did enjoy it. It has wonderful music. The soundtrack is absolutely amazing. I know I watched it a couple times because it's really hard to miss because they don't have dialogue. So unless I'm actually like looking at the screen, I feel like I missed something. So I had to go back and look, just make sure I understood everything that was going on. But it was really good. I really liked it.
Wonderful. There we go. And now I'm gonna pull up a bunch of people. And I had a poll in the chat for the next film. We had 3 amigos, and we're trying to get the Abyss in there.
Come on, guys. Please.
But the Abyss is losing to 3 amigos, 40 to 60%. So I'll leave it up just a little bit
Dang.
longer.
ooh,
The
Are we
singing
going to
bush
Santa
always
Poco?
wins.
to get some more tequila.
3
Let me know,
amigos is
chat.
so great. So I might show some of
We're
you guys in the
infamous,
chat.
more than famous.
I gave it an 89, almost 90. I love the film as well. I think it's I think Tom is right. I think it's just one of those movies that came out in the 80s that set the tone for a lot of things, especially early Arnold stuff. Arnold was in a lot of films, but there are just a couple that I just really loved. Like Predator was one of them. I wasn't too big into his comedy, but I loved Commando for how cheesy it is. One guy just takes on an entire army. I love those type of films. Twins was okay, but I didn't really care for too much of his comedies, except for the Christmas one. The Christmas one was great. So, but those are the type of Arnold movies I like. And Conan, not too much. The second Conan movie wasn't that big on that one, but this one was definitely one of my favorites. But look what everybody else is saying. We got Marianne B. gave it a 100%. Fear the Tardo.
Wow.
He says Tardo inks. It was a great 2-hour music video. Way to stay in character, man. I appreciate it. We got
So
Mo
good,
for
dude.
95. Evan here. He got about 100%. He says Arnold gets drunk and punches a camel in the freaking face. If that's not top tier entertainment, then I don't know what is. 10 out of 10 for Evan. I love it. The Big Al Bosky, did I say that right? Gave it an 80%. Typical sword and sorcery of the time. Little dialogue, lots of action, and TNA. A fun watch. There's my man Alex. Gave it an 87. Said it's an awesome Arnold movie. No need to know more. That's right. There's Epic Mike. And what is that? Is that Fergusonian? Did I say that right?
Fergonian?
Fergusonian.
Yeah.
If I said it wrong, I apologize.
It's kind of tiny on the screen. Maybe you hit that zoom button a little
I
bit.
can blow that up a little bit. There we go. And he gave it an 84. Jaja Binks. And I
My
love
favorite
that so many
review.
of you are watching these films with us and reviewing it with us. Gave it a 72. I'm not going to read what he had to say, but he did say, this buddy really punched out a camel.
That's my favorite review so far. So good, dude.
So there is
I think the camel was the one that gave the thumbs down.
I don't know if I want to read more, but yeah, someone gave
I was waiting to see when we got to that one, dude. It's so good.
There's Sevi, she gave it an 86. Samwise Gigi. Right? Did I say that right? Gave it an 86. 30 minutes into this movie, I had to check who James Earl Jones was playing. Not only is he fairly young here, the movie also makes him look white in some shots.
That's wild, dude.
Well, to be fair, George Lucas kind of did the same thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
This my man Banjo Sandwich gave it an 87. Got some spoilers in his review. Mr. Dixie is here. What is best in life? Yeah, Conan crushes his enemies in this movie. Gave it a 94. Nick, 82. My man War Machine, a 100. That's awesome. Bookstore Thor gave it a 95. Look at that. It just goes on. You guys, if you guys get him in early, I can get him on the screen. So make sure you follow these amazing people that are reviewing these films. These are some of the older reviews here, people that have reviewed it. But our chat, man, you guys came through 6 days ago, one day when we announced it, and you guys reviewed on Critic List. So I tried to show as many as I can. Freaking awesome.